News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Nathan Hager.
And I'm Karen Moscow.
Karen, we begin with a major political development this morning in the United Kingdom. Prime Minister Keir Starmer has announced he is stepping down. Let's go to London and get the very latest with Bloomberg's Ewan Potts. Good morning, Ewan.
Karen and Nathan, less than 2 years after his landslide election victory, Keir Starmer says he's standing down as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. He made the announcement outside number 10 Downing Street less than half an hour ago.
The question my party is asking now is whether I am best placed to lead us into the next general election. I have heard the answer of my parliamentary party to that question, and I accept that answer with good grace. Every decision I've taken has been about putting the country I love first. That is why I will resign as leader of the Labour Party.
Starmer went on to say that nominations for a new leader of the Labour Party and hence Prime Minister will open on July 9th, with the new Prime Minister in place by September. Starmer's exit opens the door to Britain's fifth Premier since 2022. Quite the milestone for a political system once prized for its stability. In London, I'm Ewan Potts, Bloomberg Radio.
All right, Ewan, thank you. Now we want to get the latest on peace negotiations between the U.S. and Iran. Both sides began technical discussions over the weekend in the Swiss resort of Bergenstock, and Iranian officials say major progress has been made. Vice President J.D. Vance is sounding optimistic as well.
What today really represents is the beginning of a technical negotiation that's not going to solve every disagreement, but is going to allow us to sit together as teams for the first time really in history to figure out what matters most to the respective parties, to settle those issues, to solve those issues, and get to a better tomorrow.
Vice President J.D. Vance spoke at the start of the talks in Switzerland. And we get the very latest from Bloomberg Middle East correspondent Abir Abu Omar.
After the meetings concluded later today, we heard by the joint Pakistani-Qatar body that they're supposed to go on until the end of this week. And some of the things that had been discussed, according to the Foreign Minister of Iran, Abbas Araghchi, were the waivers on oil sanctions. He said some of those are lifted. He also said some of the frozen assets have been unblocked. He also said there is some major progress when it comes to the Lebanon issue, which seems to be the lasting sticking point in those negotiations.
And Bloomberg's Abir Abu Omar reports the U.S. and Iran have set up a communication line to avoid incidents and miscommunication around the Strait of Hormuz.
And Karen, reaction is continuing to pour into the latest developments. Former Defense Secretary Mark Esper says the next 60 days could be a challenge.
We have a long road ahead of us with regard to sustaining the current MOU, the agreement with Lebanon as a spoiler. And then secondly, I think big picture is getting to the nitty gritty on the details of the nuclear deal, if you will, and what that eventually looks like.
Former Defense Secretary Mark Esper appeared on Bloomberg this weekend, heard each Saturday and Sunday at 7 a.m. Wall Street time on Bloomberg Radio and Television and the Bloomberg Business app.
Nathan, an ally of President Trump has won the election in Colombia in one of the closest results in the nation's history. Abelardo de la Espriella garnered 49.7% of the votes, with 99.9% of results released by electoral authorities. Senator Ivan Cepeda earned 48.7% support. The final result is expected toward the end of the week after a review process. De la Espriella is a business owner and lawyer who earned President Trump's endorsement despite never having run for office.
Karen, U.S.-China relations are in the spotlight as well. This morning, China has announced sanctions on 10 American military-related companies. This is in response to a recent U.S. move that bars some leading Chinese tech firms from defense contracts. China's also imposed export controls against 2 U.S. rare earth producers that are part of Washington's effort to reduce dependence on China by establishing an alternative supply chain for those critical minerals.
And that's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Karen Moscow.
I'm Nathan Hager, and this is Bloomberg.